Recording. Here we are at Copia. This is our dressing room.
Oh, I'll give you a tour. Okay, here's. Wait. Oh, I don't know. Storage areas.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it's not that big.
Okay, well, here's my tiki lattice clothes for later. These
Okay.
are my go-go girl clothes.
Where's your boots? Boots.
They're in there.
Okay.
And then this is the bathroom.
The boots are made for stalking.
Okay. Bathroom. We shower.
Ah. Yeah, I'll see you there later, baby. Okay.
Fresh towels from
Me.
Richard. Look at the pretty
This is
sink.
my new, this is my suit.
Look at the pretty sink.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty
Sink.
Okay.
All right.
We can show this to my mom.
Yeah.
You want to take the coat off for a little while so you get to swim?
No, fine.
Okay. Well, if you do, hang it up so it doesn't get wrinkled.
All right. Where's oh, I was gonna say where's the camcorder?
Yeah, Grandpa.
Does
Would
have-
you like
yeah.
some hot
Not
tea or
now.
coffee?
No, that's okay. And this is Copia. This is the auditorium. We're going to be doing our show. Going up to see. There's Mr. and Mrs. Moon up there.
Oh, yes. Hard at work.
I got your money right here, buddy. Although it's not good yet, but. Is Bob here yet?
No, he said he's taking the day off, so...
Well, I hope he's not taking the day off from here. This is Scott. This is where the show's going to be. Yeah, I wanted him to film me doing the lecture.
Next tour, the top the institutions and galleries. There is the OLT, of course, the historians, camera, and this program is free.
Why is that bad?
Okay, yes, this before.
There you go.
And push it again.
All right, so you can just,
Alrighty,
you can just sit anywhere.
let's see. Oh, yeah, no problem. So you're just, you're gonna give a little lecture?
Yes. Wait for a
Okay,
few more students.
all right. Yeah, you look very 60s mod.
I know,
That would've
look
been-
at her.
You should have worn that outfit last Thursday for the spy movie. 'Cause that was,
yeah.
you know, that would've worked. And I can't remember what you were wearing.
Well, we were trying to go for like, he said wear a gown or something. 'Cause it
You
was-
know what, they said they already have 80 presets.
Oh, excellent. Well, I guess you're gonna be waiting.
Another 100 on top of that. 80 is usually what average at the Parkway, so we already got an average Parkway crowd.
So why don't we turn this off for a second?
Well, here's how you turn it off.
Okay.
Preview of the Thrillville Review, which will be on tonight at 8 o'clock. So this afternoon, I'm going to introduce to you Professor Thrill. Professor Thrill will talk all about Scopitones.
Scopitones. This is, thank you for attending Thrillville 101. I'm Professor Thrill, and today's subject is indeed the history of Scopitones. Anyone in the class ever hear of a Scopitone before today? Teacher's pet, Monica Tiki Goddess notwithstanding, no one else has even heard of a Scopitone. Well, that is indeed pathetic, because like many things, it's a forerunner of something that is ubiquitous today, which is the music video. Way, way, way back in the 20th century, mid-20th century, early 60s, we had something called the Scopitone, which is the original music video, that's right. And actually, this was like a jukebox video. You actually put a coin in a jukebox, and a video would pop up. I can hear your minds blowing right now, but that's true. We're going to see some examples of that tonight. The first visual jukebox was actually born in 1939. Way back then, this is before TV. It was called a panorama, invented by the Mills Novelty Company of Chicago. It was a wood cabinet jukebox, and had a translucent screen upon which the image was rear projected. You follow me? You guys taking notes? Okay, just up here. Now, Hollywood's Glow Productions made thousands of 16mm shorts for these machines that were called soundings, that were really popular in the early 40s. And then World War II happened. That's a whole other lecture. That's not really my field. But after the war, the French kind of took over this concept. It kind of died in America, but the French used actually war surplus items. They took reconnaissance cameras, 16 millimeter reconnaissance cameras used in airplanes, and started converting them into music jukeboxes. That's resourceful. Now, it took them a while to get it right. Actually, it was in the late 1950s. It was a prototype from a company called, no giggling, because this is not French class, so. Campagne, in fact, Monica Tikigatis, you want to help me with this? This is Monica Tikigatis, teacher's pet. She is going to pronounce this for me.
Subsidiary?
Right here.
Oh. Campagne d'application mécanique, l'électronique, à cinéma et atmostique.
Thank you, dear. Okay. Or CAMCA, for short. A subsidiary of CSF, the RCA of France. The new machine is called a Scopitone. In 1960, CAMCA released its first model, the ST16, throughout Europe. Now, they distributed it throughout Europe, but it was basically, the popularity remained confined to France. So most of the productions were actually French productions. They were shot out in the woods, they were shot on real locations, very low tech, using the popular music of the day. In 1962, a sleeper model called the ST36 was introduced. And about this time, America got wind of what was going on. So in 62, a U.S. businessman licensed the product from CAMCA. Alvin I. Malnick, Miami lawyer, bought the first U.S. and Latin American rights to Scopitones. With 11 co-investors, they formed Scopitones, Inc. One of the 11 was Irving Kay, a Brooklyn billiard equipment manufacturer, and another was Abe Green, New York slot machine baron with reputed mob ties. It gets pretty colorful. The new machines were test marketed in Miami in 1963 and 64, went through the roof. Now the regional popularity spread in Florida. A Chicago plastic sign maker called Telesign formed a partnership with Malnick. Scopitone became a subsidiary of Telesign. Malnick remained the president. Now eventually these things got so popular and hip that Variety reported on their popularity, which even increased their pervasiveness in the culture. But pretty soon, the Americans were getting sick of these really low-tech, kind of dull French productions, so we decided to make American music videos for the Scopitones. Now, there were 25 cents for the music video. They're usually like hotel lobbies, cocktail lounges, places like that, but they wanted to put them in bus stops, bowling alleys, places where just the normal Joe was hanging out. It was supposed to be something for everybody. So the jukebox industry was getting a little intimidated by this because this was a real threat. This is basically taking TV, putting it with the music industry. And the motion picture industry was already up in arms about TV, and now there was another visual medium coming in and threatening a traditional American product. But they still went ahead. Time magazine reported favorably on the success of Scopitones in August 1964, followed by a New York Times article. And then, by this time, Telesign, the Scopitone subsidiary was overwhelming Telesign. So basically they were becoming a Scopitone company. And that's when Harmon Enterprises of Beverly Hills, owned by Debbie Reynolds, ex-Columbia VP Irving Briskin, came in, promising 48 acts a year for the new invention. Now the first Harmony act was actually Debbie Reynolds, performing a little number called If I Had a Hammer, which we're going to see right now. So this will illustrate everything I've been saying, in probably a lot more interesting way. So Scott Moon, you want to hit it?
Yeah.
If I Had a Hammer, Debbie Reynolds.
Oh
Scopitone. If I come at you and say there was such a thing in the 60s called a jukebox video, you're going to laugh and say, oh yeah, show me one. Well, that was a Scopitone. It's amazing that something that popular, not that long ago, is completely swept away in the American memory. But there is a resurgence of popularity in the Scopitone. We'll talk about it in a little bit. But anyway, so this is about 64. By 65, 1,000 machines were on location, 400 on the West Coast alone. Morax jumped on the bandwagon. Neil Sedaka, the Hondells, Bobby V, James Darren, Jody Miller, wife of Roger, and Frank Sinatra Jr. We're going to see him in a little bit. It was a mix of lounge, country, rock and roll, all very safely within the realm of pop music. And they were all, most of the harmony Scopitones were directed by a guy named Hal Belfer. Briskin remained executive producer. Fred Benson was talent coordinator. Now all these films were shot in this kind of stunning, saturating Technicolor in 35 millimeter. That's what you see most films in today, 35 millimeter. Then actually blown down to 16 millimeter to show the machines. And you may say, what do these things cost? They cost between $6,000 and $11,000 to make. The big stars, like we just saw, got about $1,000 and 40% royalty per print play. Lesser stars, which are most of them, got $250. Background dancers, the crew from nightclubs on Sunset Strip by Belson were paid an average of $50. So other companies jumped on the bandwagon: Continental Cinema, Color Sonics, various independents, but only Harmony produced them in Technicolor, and that's why they're the ones, like you saw today, that lasted the longest. Technicolor, the way they printed it, didn't fade. So now to the kind of surreal nature of these things. Now at that time, actually, Andy Warhol was popular. Something called pop art was sweeping the country, and Scopitones are actually a prime exponent of pop art. And also, they were a great way to introduce various dance crazes of the day, which you may or not remember. Monica Tikigatta is going to demonstrate a couple of those dances that were popular, or popularized by the Scopitones. Now, first of all, we're going to have Monica briefly demonstrate something called the monkey.
Here we come, walking down the street. We get the funniest looks from everyone we meet. Hey, with the monkeys, people say we monkey around, but we're too busy singing to put anybody down.
Okay, that's the monkey. Okay. Next we have a little ditty called The Jerk. The Swift. But not to that.
Anything I can do?
Not to that either. Not to that.
Twist.
trip number, but I happen to be married to my teacher's pet, so I'm going to say that for another time. Anyway, thank you, teacher's pet. So right now, Scott, with our projectionist is going to show us a few more examples of Scopitones, some with dance numbers, one starring Frank Sinatra Jr. Hit it. Lights, please. Of course, that was the chairboy of the board, Frank Sinatra Jr. Before that, Jody Miller, wife of Roger, you may recognize that take on King of the Road. That was used as a domestic training film in the 60s. And next we have, so this is a, you know, we're in 65 now, and about 66, TV show called Batman premiered. And this is January 66, so pop art, that genre was sweeping the nation. So a lot of this, the technicolor, the camp, as it were, was brought into the American living room. Scopitones kind of lost their luster a little bit there. And of course, the Batman TV show introduced one of the great dance crazes of the 60s, the Batoozy.
Ringside table, Batman? Just looking, thanks. I'll stand at the bar. I shouldn't wish to attract attention.
Thank you, Monica. The thing is, in April '66, around the time the Batman TV show was peaking in popularity, the Wall Street Journal published a piece reporting that the federal grand jury of New York had been probing into, quote, everyone and everything connected with Scopitone, unquote, as part of the Justice Department's investigation of alleged mob infiltration into legit businesses. And of course, this crusade was led by Bobby Kennedy. Scopitones were an unlikely casualty of this crusade. So basically, they're cleaning house from the mob ties they found with the Scopitone company, so everything was called into question. We're just talking about little music videos here. It was kind of like the payola scandal in the 50s with Alan Freed. But anyway, in the midst of all this controversy, stars like Eartha Kitt, Vicky Carr, and April Stevens continued to sign contracts to make music films, and this went on through '67. They continued to make money. In fact, the first most popular Scopitone artist in 1966 won his award. He was the only such artist to win that distinction. Someone named January Jones. Ring any bells? Didn't think so. But anyway, it's not his fault because the form that made him famous, or infamous, or not obscure, was fading due to these grand jury probes. A jukebox veteran named J.C. Jack Gordon tried to revitalize the format with a new model called a Theater 16. It's a basically modified version of the 450, which was introduced in 1968. But then in October '69, the New York Times announced the indictment of Vincent Jimmy Blue Eyes Ella for getting false claims and evasive answers during a Securities and Exchange Commission investigation into the financial affairs of Telesign, aka Scopitone Inc. This proved to be the death knell. Pretty much by 1970, due to accusations of mafia involvement, plus organized opposition from other point-op companies, the industry pretty much was killed off by 1970. In France, throughout the 70s and 80s, Scopitones were collected and put out in videos, and were a healthy cult item up until the 90s, at which point they began to catch on bit by bit here in the States. So people like Scott Moon up there started collecting them and showing them in places, well, not like Copia. This is probably the first time you've seen a Scopitone at Copia. But hopefully it's the beginning of a new future for Scopitones. And everyone here, all 6 of you, can help spread the word that there was such a thing as Scopitone. And you know what one is, so you'll be the life of your next cocktail party. I'm sure. And of course, they'll want to see what you're talking about because you'll let's see a Scopitone. So hopefully they will become popular, or at least be available and accessible once again. Because as you can see, there's nothing really like them. But you can tell by the production values and just the way they were presented, and the reason they were presented was to sell music. Basically, they are the forerunners of MTV. So it's interesting that they've been suppressed all this time until now. Here in Thrillville, they've been revitalized. So what we're going to do is close out the lecture with a few more choice Scopitones from the collection of Scott Moon. And that'll about do it. I want to thank Jack Stevens, whose 1999 article, The Jukebox that Ate the Cocktail Lounge, is a source of many of my notes, which I don't need anymore. And also, I want to invite all of you to tonight's show, the Thrillville Review, which is basically an indoor drive-in. Anybody remember the drive-in?
Yay, drive-ins!
So, well, there's not more of you remember the drive-in, which is why we don't have drive-ins. But we do have an indoor drive-in. You can leave your car outside. We're going to have the entertainment right here. We have a Scopitone featuring, actually, Joy Lansing. And I think right now Scott's going to cue one up. Joy Lansing was the queen of the Scopitones, for what that's worth. Now, you may or may not know Joy Lansing from some classics as the Atomic Submarine. I guess not. Well, anyway, Touch of Evil.
She was the one who was blown up in the car.
Teeny, there you go. She got blown up in the car, I think pre-credit sequence. Yes. Or during the credits, okay. But actually, her real claim to fame, if she has fame, is in the Scopitone. We're going to show her all-time classic tonight, Web of Love, because tonight's theme is, of course, arachnic anarchy. And along with Web of Love and some other drive-in snack ads, other surprises that were ubiquitous in drive-ins, you used to take this stuff for granted. Tiki bars, bowling alleys are all over the place. Now, it's a big collector's item. And we're going to have the feature, Earth versus the Spider. It's not quite as epic as that title may lead you to believe, but there is a big spider in it, and it does take place on Earth. He's not actually fighting the entire Earth. He's up against a few teenagers, but they get the job done. This is from the company American International Pictures, who pretty much revitalized the drive-in the mid-50s. We'll talk about that tonight. But anyway, right now we're going to look at Joy Lansing in The Silencers. Now, The Silencers was a Dean Martin film in which he played Matt Helm, which I just showed at the Parkway Theater in Oakland last week. That's where Monica and I do a show called Thrillville, Parkway Speakeasy Theater in Oakland, every other Thursday. And The Silencers was the first in the Matt Helm series. The original theme song was sung by Vicky Carr, I believe. No, she did one version. Sid Cerise danced to it, though. So you had Vicky Carr, Sid Cerise. And here is Joy Lansing's take on The Silencers.